Do you have any idea how intense the life of the lower class in Hong Kong can be? Under every overpass, there are dozens of people lining up to live at night. By day, they are suited and booted workers, but at night, they can only return to the overpass to eat, drink, and sleep in a rundown state. There are no toilets or kitchens here ordered to wash their faces or use the bathroom. They must walk to a public toilet a kilometer away. Clean clothes have nowhere to hang as they might accidentally hit passing vehicles. Eating instant noodles has become the standard for people here because it's simple, cheap, and convenient. Despite the rudimentary environment, they face the biting cold wind every night. Yet many people still desperately want to live here. After all, without a place to live, they would have to wander the streets and become what people call years McRefugees. Download those who reside in 24-hour McDonald's restaurant. Is it really that they don't work hard enough? In fact, that's not the case. Hong Kong is Asia's largest financial hub and also one of the cities with the most homeless people. Although it boasts the most skyscrapers globally, millions still have no place to live in this city with exorbitant land prices. Buying their own property is incredibly difficult. Take old Wang, for example, who worked most of his life and barely managed to buy a small room of just a few square meters. No longer worried about housing, the daily expenses still force him to collect scrap. The cramped room is filled with many sundries. Perhaps she never imagined that she, who once commanded the workplace in her youth, now lives in such a dilapidated house. Mentioning her past glories reduces her to tears. It turns out that a few years earlier, due to an accident, she was forced to work as a seamstress for several years. After that, not only did her wife divorce her, but he also lost his hard-earned job. As a result, he had to work tirelessly to earn money. Yet, despite struggling for most of his life, he now can only live in this dimly lit room. Every day, competing with women for cardboard boxes has become her routine. Of course, not everyone has his environment piece. There are also many shared housing units in Hong Kong. Although not large, the monthly rent for these rooms can still reach $5,000, which is unaffordable for many poor people. Due to the high housing prices, there's a characteristic building here known as Daily Coffin Homes San Daily Cage Home. Core 20-some square meter room is divided into many cages, not for pets, but for the lower class in Hong Kong, as their only home in this city. Despite the cramped space and harsh environment, it remains an unattainable dream for the poor. After all, compared to the overpass, they are not exposed to wind and rain. Plus, the monthly rent of $1,500 makes it somewhat tolerable. Some people have lived in such rooms for more than 30 years. Usually there is little furniture in these rooms. Icy tenants must provide their own electric fans. This leads to the fact that in the hot summer, the inside of the cage house is sweltering and unbearable with a foul smell, making it almost like a hell on earth. Yet even so, when they see someone filming, they will immediately drive them out. The reason is not the fear of others seeing their predicament. It turns out that someone once filmed these rooms and posted them online. When the authorities discovered it, they used various reasons to make the landlords stop renting and even fine them, claiming that the lack of safety facilities violated local safety standards. As a result, many people became homeless and had to wander the street. Hong Kong is a city with high salaries and low taxes, and many young people come to work here because of this slogan. But gradually, they find out that their monthly salary of 10,000 yuan is not even enough to rent a house with a toilet. After all, facing the city with the highest housing prices in Asia, where houses cost 210,000 yuan per square meter, most people have no choice but to live on rooftops or in cage home. The government has not been in active access with government subsidies. Public rental housing was born with rents ranging from $800 to $2,000. Compared to rooftops and cage homes, the environment here is much more friendly, especially with cheaper rent. The popularity is as fierce as supermarket promotions, with some people spending 4 years just applying. The rooms are arranged along a corridor divided on both sides. A room of less than 20 square meters is filled with many sundries, yet still housing a family of 3. After a mean passage, there is no room to stand inside, making it suffocating. With the rapid development of society, many young people no longer insist on buying a house. After all, a monthly salary of 10,000 yuan may not even be enough to buy a toilet. Therefore, they take the sky as their blanket, the ground as their mat, and the streets as their home. Just like Ziyad Wei in front of us as a chef in the catering industry. He has a salary of more than 10,000 yuan a month. By day, he is the admired head chef, but at night, he becomes a McRefugee wandering the streets to be in better spirits for work. He arrives at McDonald's on time every night at 10 to sleep on the sofa inside. Although his salary sounds high due to Hong Kong's retirement policy, thousands are deducted from his wages each month, reducing his actual salary to only about 9,000. Therefore, in this city of high housing prices and high living costs, he dare not rent a house. In addition, not only do the living face housing difficulties, but even the deceased do not rest in peace. According to statistics of the tens of thousands of people who die in Hong Kong each year, 80% have nowhere to be placed. Hong Kong's housing prices are indeed high, but money can buy them. However, for Hong Kong's cemetery land, money may not necessarily be able to buy it, especially permanent cemetery land. The chance to be buried in a permanent cemetery is slim. Therefore, most of the poor choose to buy a beautiful jar and place the ashes at home. Behind the bustling metropolis of Hong Kong lies the real life of these 300,000 lower-class people in Hong Kong. Densely packed public rental housing units are arranged together, giving an oppressive feeling like boxes due to the lack of windows. But this is all caused by realistic conditions in this economically developed place. To survive, people have to live in such places. Only through their own efforts and contributions can they change their destiny. How desperate is the life of the poor in Hong Kong with a monthly income of over 10,000? In a room of less than 10 square meters, a family of 4 lives, not only cooking next to the toilet, but also having to squeeze into a tiny living room for meals. The space is crimped, the environment is oppressive, and sundries fill an entire wall. Yet such a suffocating small room has a monthly rent as high as 4,000 to 5,000. The woman named Shafalin is a housewife, and now a family of 4 has been living in Hong Kong for more than 10 years. Her husband is a security guard, and although he has a monthly salary of more than 10,000, their life is still very tight. Every morning, after sending her daughter to school, she takes her 3-year-old son to the big vegetable market to buy today's food. Even though there are all kinds of vegetables in the market, she only dares to buy some tomatoes and winter vegetables because in that small room, she refuses to fry, choosing to stew the food that can be cooked. In addition, she also goes to the food bank every month to collect free food, as her husband's salary of around 10,000 yuan is hardly enough to support the expenses of a family of 4. After returning home, Shalon puts the just bought ingredients into the refrigerator and then prepares the food for the day. Due to the limited space, the kitchen is on top of the washing machine, and various cooking utensils are crowded on the storage rack without even an exhaust hood. Therefore, every time she fries, Xiaolin is smoked by the hot cooking fumes, sweating all over. After cooking, Xiaolin will clean the room immediately access, if not cleaned in time. The smell of the cooking fumes will inevitably make it difficult to sleep at night. The dining table is her son's desk. The family of 4 can only huddle in the cramped living room to eat. Despite this, it is still a result of giving up the large bed last time. Before, I divided the 5 streets into 3 people's strength, and there were no mistakes, only waiting to be truly noticed. Of course, Xiaolin and her husband have also dreamed of living in a larger house. But the high housing prices do not allow them to have such dreams, so they can only be forced to accept reality. According to statistics in Hong Kong, a city with extremely high housing prices, there are still more than 200,000 people living in such cramped and oppressive spaces, most of whom are parents who have been struggling for decades. However, it is not that they do not want to buy a house, but the housing price of 200,000 yuan per square meter makes them powerless. After all, compared to saving money to buy a house every month, they would rather spend this money on their children's nutrition and education. Next door, Xiu Ji, a single mother, married a man in Hong Kong from Vietnam 17 years ago. However, due to family financial issues, her husband did not want to raise a child, so they divorced 3 years ago. Now she lives with her daughter in a room with limited space. Each time she cooks, she can only do it in the room next to the toilet. You say people can't see it feeling beautiful. Many of these diseases are abandoned. On ordinary days, she rarely cooks at home because the hygiene makes it hard for her to accept. In her eyes, this place is not a home at all, more like a rat nest. Apart from having breakfast at home in the morning, Xiao Jiang takes her daughter to the street's fast food restaurants every day to buy a few dishes and then goes to the park to eat. She will take a look at the first floor bed. Master, the dog at least has a good one. Have you seen the sky? I can vote for you. On ordinary days, Xiao Jiang's happiest moment is taking her daughter to the park to play because only here can she breathe fresh air and watch her daughter hop and be happy. Although life as a single person is very difficult, she will still face it bravely. No matter how poor, she will give her best to her child. There are many such lower-class people in Hong Kong, even with a monthly salary of tens of thousands. Their lives are still a mess. Jiaho, 55 years old, usually works in a restaurant, but due to his busy work, he seldom has the opportunity to eat with his family. Taking advantage of the winter solstice, he spent 150 yuan on a huge white-cut chicken to go home and reunite with his wife and children, like others. He also lives in a room, in this room of only 10 square meters, where his son's study desk is the place where they eat. On ordinary days, Gail's wife sometimes takes her son to cook in the community kitchen because the community kitchen is open to families in difficulty for free and also provides some ingredient. Therefore, cooking and eating with neighbors will make her feel the taste of home. Seeing that her son is about to go to junior high school, Gatio has also applied for public housing, wanting to provide a quieter study environment for her son. However, 45 years have passed and she still doesn't have a quota after dinner. Gao would write his diary to release pressure and tutor his son's studies. In his heart, the ups and downs of life make her feel sorry for her family. It turns out that more than 10 years ago, Gayo was a salesman for a shipyard company with a car and a house. But after the financial storm, she has become so down and out. Although men's tears are not easily shed, every time she thinks of her son and daughter living in such an environment with her heart is very uncomfortable. In summary, only a few words will be enough, and this can be done for you. I can explain it as too big to listen to. This can be changed to my husband's better point. Perhaps for them, life is indeed very difficult, but they are still willing to stay in Hong Kong, a place where every inch of land is gold, and work hard. Perhaps it is for their own struggle dream and the children they have raised hard, or perhaps they are already used to this lifestyle. But no matter what, striving and working hard are the only ways to get out of the current situation. What kind of life can you live in Hong Kong with a monthly income of 20,000? Have you ever seen a room of only 4 square meters in Hong Kong? I have not seen it either, but I know a sister who has been drifting in Hong Kong, and she lives in this room. Today I will take you all to have a look, and everyone can feel it on their own. My street is very noisy and there is no light at night. Hello, Carol. Hello, Jiang, brother. So there are no lights in the evening. That's not right. There will be above. Are you a girl living here? Don't you think it's terrifying? It's okay when you get used to it. I think, in fact, if you are in Shanghai and so on, it should be similar here. Welcome to my 4 square meter cabin. Wow, to be honest, our photography teacher can't get in, so I can only hold it in the next shot. And we will introduce it to you, bit by bit. The first thing that catches your eye is a refrigerator. What is placed on the refrigerator are some of the refrigerator stickers. I like because there is no space to place elsewhere. I also like to collect refrigerator stickers when I travel. This one was bought in Malaysia, this one in Jinggazen, and this one in Nanchang. Let's see what's in your refrigerator, those breads and your Kaohsiung's Oblivion. So, although this room looks relatively simple, there is still a smell of life. After all, the house is rented and life is your own. Then, on the left is a large wardrobe. This side is your place to work and study. And this side is my kitchen. This is the kitchen, right? This is the kitchen. And below is my laundry area. How do you cook here? This steaming is just cooking vegetable. All right, there is indeed a range hood above, right? Yes, it can be opened. And this side is the bathroom. Where do you hang your clothes? I can hang my clothes above. You can feel the size of this room on your own. It is indeed a little more than 4 square meters because my wingspan is about 2 meters. This is the bed above, right? Yes, let everyone feel the bedroom. The bedroom is separated above, and then it is such a space. And there's actually a little storage space here where some things can also be placed. So how much does it cost to rent this house per month in Hong Kong currency? A month will not be expensive. Do you think it's expensive? I have no right to say it's expensive. I have to come down very cramped now and do a simple interview. It is indeed very urgent. I am always afraid of bumping my head. Mainly, what are you doing now? I am doing marketing now. I go to work in high-end buildings. And when I come back here, what do you feel? In fact, at the beginning, it was quite shocking. In the first month, I was looking for various housing information on mobile apps every day and wanted to change houses. I've never lived in such a small house, and at first glance, I also felt terrible. But after living for a while, I got used to it. Why did you rent this house at that time? Find a better one will be better. Because I had to work the next day when I came to Hong Kong to find a house the day before. So I came here alone with 2 big suitcases, 2 small suitcases, a heavy backpack, and a crossbody bag. I had no energy to look at other houses, and the rent was very cheap, so I set it down very much on the limit. Have you ever calculated how much you need to spend in Hong Kong in a month? The rent is 4,000 and the commute is about 100 a month. 100 is too much because I take the tram to work and walk to get off work. So it's only 3 yuan a day. Eating in Hong Kong, maybe at about 1,000, right? So cheap because I cook and buy vegetables. It's not expensive. Buying clothes, and these are bought because the house is very small and it doesn't have the capacity to let me change more clothes. And I will spend 2,000 or 3,000 traveling in a month. I go to different cities in the mainland every weekend. Now, I have been to Weihai, Kaohsiung, Gize, Ko, Wuhan, and more than 20 big and small ones. Although the house is very small, the world looks bigger. So how much can you save per month with an income of 20,000? I can save about 13 to 14,000 a month. Wow, he travels and can still save 13,000 a month. You are really good at living spending money on the blade. What do you think is the difference between working in Hong Kong and working in the mainland? The first point is that the Hong Kong workplace is not so competitive, and the time off work is completely your own. There is rarely any overtime in the mainland. If you get off work on time, you may be criticized by the leader. The second point is that the workplace is more inclusive of women, so she won't practice some discriminatory behaviors because you have been married, pregnant, etc. And there is no age discrimination, so your boss is a good boss, haha. The most important point is that the income is higher. This is also the most realistic reason why I stay in Hong Kong to work. I am in Canada now, and the money I can save every month is twice my salary in the mainland, because the income here is higher. As long as you are very economical, all the money you save is the money you save. Finally, which income are you going to move out of this room with, I hope to move out next year. But in fact, he can move out now. He just wants to save money.